The UCAS Personal Statement is going bye-bye, and it's being replaced by 3 short answer questions. That is the topic of today's video. My name is Craig Meister. I'm a college admissions coach. You can learn more about me and how you can work with me one-on-one throughout the entire college admissions process on my website, which is collegemeister.com. And if you're interested in learning about whether or not you are or your student is on track for selective college admission in the United States, visit areyouontracktogetin.com. Again, that's areyouontracktogetin.com, at which you will complete a free 3-minute assessment. Your results will be emailed to you right away, and they will help you clarify whether or not you are or your student is on track for selective college admission in the United States of America. So I don't talk too much on this channel about the UCAS Personal Statement, which, for those who don't know, is the marquee essay that you're putting together when you apply to the vast majority of UK universities. There is something like a common app over there. It's called the UCAS. And on that application, there is an opportunity for years, to share in about 4,000 characters or fewer, which is roughly 500 to 800 words, depending on how long your word choices are. But, one statement where you basically, in a very businessman-like format, explain why you want to study a particular course, your preparation for that particular course, and anything else you've done to sort of best position you to succeed or for success in that particular course of study in the UK. And this of course required a degree of dynamism in writing to be able to write 500 to 800 plus words, give or take 4,000 characters, to make a very compelling case by harnessing evidence about why you are well suited for and prepared for that particular course of study in the UK. So it was never the emotional mess that is the common application essay. That is a big difference between the UK, which is very businessman-like, and the United States, which is all emotion all the time, increasingly. But that's even been the case for years now in the United States. But of course, all good things come to an end. And as a result, we are now living in a world in which the adultification of humanity is progressing at full speed, pedal to the metal. And so it goes to figure, after many years of rumors and discussion, that the personal statement on the UCAS application is being put to rest. No longer will there be the expectation that students from the UK and elsewhere around the world are able or willing or have to put together a long, extended statement making the case in an organized, structured way that could be extremely compelling to highly educated people from, let's say, the 1900s. All standards are, again, being dropped. And so we're now living in a world in which the announcement has come down that the personal statement is now being turned into basically 3 short answer questions that are still seeking basically the same type of information from applicants, but in a much less demanding manner, because when you no longer have to tie all your thoughts together in one compelling case, it's far easier for the simple-minded amongst us. And again, because there is, of course, a real drive to turn humanity into dolts. Yes, you heard that right. Dolts. D-O-L-T-S. This is what I call the doltification of humanity. The powers that be want to lower the standards so that this is all very doable for more and more individuals to climb overcome, if you will, a much smaller hurdle than they used to be asked to overcome in order to be capable of demonstrating that they are college, or in this case, university ready, as they call it in the United Kingdom. So the 3 questions are as follows. One of the questions is, why do you want to study this course or subject? Again, all of this should have been conveyed in your previous personal statement, but now it's going to be something you just only have to focus on that one little idea at a time, and you have a minimum of 350 characters with which to work on that one. You still have the full 4,000 characters, but it's split in three now into three short answer questions. So you can stay focused if you're ADHD or someone has told you that you're attentional or you just are attentional because you've never been forced at all throughout your K-12 through 12, or I guess they call it K through 13. I don't know, experience in the UK. But if ever you've ever been asked to actually pay attention to something for more than 5 minutes, you probably would have been able to put together the personal statement. But because that is still too much for the vast majority of up and coming humans, because of cell phones, because of TikTok, because of God knows what other distractions and drugs and sugars that are being infused into humans, we're now in a position where we can't ask college applicants to focus on more than one question at a time when making some sort of compelling case. So you have one box to respond to this. Why do you want to study this course of study or subject? Again, you have a minimum of 350 words to write there, or characters to write there. So that's maybe up to probably, let's say, 1,300 or so. The next question or prompt will be, how have your qualifications and studies helped you to prepare for this course or subject? Again, this was expected of you in the old 4,000 word or 4,000 character personal statement. And then the third one that you get to write your own little short answer response to is, what else have you done to prepare outside of education, and why are these experiences useful? Again, all three of these questions were subsumed in the old prompt, basically. The only difference now is that it's like breaking it up into like little bites. It's sort of like when you have a little child, you have to cut the hot dog into little bites. Otherwise, the child could choke. And that's basically what we're doing here for university applicants in the UK. I'm not picking on the UK, don't get me wrong. If you watch my videos, you know that the same trends have fully infiltrated higher education in the United States. So basically, the English-speaking world is all in lockstep here, that we need to be as dumb as possible, and we need to be as simple as possible. We have to be simpletons. We have to be dolts. And so anything like a long piece of writing is too much. I mean, this is, of course, also coinciding with AI. And what's also happened, of course, is that there's real concern that since most schools do not teach extended writing any longer, and there is no role modeling of what strong, persuasive writing looks like any longer in most schools, because they would rather teach students nonsense, most are going to turn anyway to AI, right, to do it for them, because ultimately what higher education in both the UK and the United States is sort of telegraphing at this point is, no longer does one need to be able to think critically or clearly or communicate critically or clearly in order to get a higher education. It's going to just be a skill that, just like a calculator now exists to do math, writing and communicating are no longer going to be things that are expected of high-functioning humans. So as a result, they're sort of breaking this up like a little hot dog you would break up for a 2-year-old or 1-year-old into very small bits so the baby doesn't choke. So that's exactly what's happening here for 18-year-olds who are applying to university in the UK. You can write basically a 1,300 character response to 3 separate questions, as opposed to writing a 4,000 character response to one prompt, in which you would also have to organize your thoughts and show that your brain is capable of organizing thoughts. So again, this is just the hot dog being cut up for toddlers. And we should be really ashamed, of course, if we're adults that we've allowed it to come to this point. But higher education, which is at the tip of the spear of sort of like promoting educational excellence, you would think, they're the ones spearheading this. They're spearheading, on both sides of the pond, the doltification of humanity. So again, long story short, the personal statement will still be 4,000 characters in total. And this, of course, also includes spaces. The content of the personal statement will remain broadly the same. It will just be split across 3 sections rather than one longer piece of text, because no one wants anyone to be stressed. I say that, of course, at the end of all of my videos. Stay stress-free, right? I mean that literally. But I also sort of combine that in all my videos with the expectation that, like, you got to show a little grit. You got to, like, put a little effort in. But again, the powers that be in society on both sides of the pond very much don't want to put any stress, any stress or any expectations really on the proletariat. Let's just put it that way. And I will say that this is not only a class thing. There are very high-priced private schools on both sides of the pond with children of very well-known people who are just as pathetically teaching English as public schools are. So by no means should anyone get it twisted. I'm not saying that this is something that only certain classes of people can do. The expectations have been lowered across the board, no matter what your race is, what your class is, what your family's income are, how many years you've been a lord or a lady or in polite society in your family. At the end of the day, I have seen this day in, day out with students I work with over the last 18 years. Every year, they become a little more simple because of what they've been exposed to. Easier reading in high school and middle school and elementary school. Easier assignments as it relates to writing and communication. This is not something that's happened overnight. This is something that's happening in every grade level, in every type of school in the United States and in the United Kingdom. So we've made our bed. Now we're going to lie in it. And I hope this makes everyone real happy and proud. It doesn't make me happy and proud. I think it's a shame that the ability to go on at length in an organized manner, which of course is something I don't always do in these videos either because I sort of just do them on the fly. But if you have time to organize your thoughts and come back and redraft, I would expect someone who is college or university ready to be able to do that in 500 to 800 words. And if you can't do it, then I would make the argument again that maybe you're really not cut out for what higher education used to be or was sold as, which is actually a higher education than you received maybe in your secondary school experience. But higher education has long not been very taxing or higher at all. And so what we're seeing now is just the realization or the admission on the part of the individuals who actually craft the essay prompts, etc., that we're going to lower the temperature, we're going to lower the expectations for all, and therefore, it's similar to what happens when they take away a gifted program in a public school in the United States. What happens is, of course, the children who are most hurt are the actual best brains amongst us. We live in a society where the very smartest are at all turns being cut off from the resources and the challenge that they need to meet their full potential, so as not to offend or hurt the feelings of the weakest brains and or the most average brains, or even the slightly above average brains in our midst. We don't want in any way offend those individuals. So I think it's extremely sad. And, many Americans for many years have thought of the United Kingdom as sort of this traditional place where, traditions never die and everyone's very proper. But as you see here, this is a great example that lowered expectations are a common theme in the entire English-speaking world these days, not just the United States of America. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to my channel. If you want to work with me one-on-one throughout the entire college admissions process, most of all, of course, I focus on the United States, but I do help every year a handful of kids with their UCAS application as well. You would want to go to my website, which is collegemeister.com. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and most importantly, as you pursue rigor and excellence, stay stress-free throughout the entire college admissions